19-20 season. Obviously, we didn't do it last year due to COVID restrictions, but this year we are back at the Mack for wrestling.
Yeah, you mentioned that I'm usually your color partner for these, but people might not remember because it has been so long since we've done this. But again, it's great to be back here at the Mack doing some wrestling, and we got a good slate of matches here today for this dual meet.
We do, and just to let you guys know ahead of time, there is one match that won't be counting to our overall dual meet score today. It's going to be Dylan Avedo Switzer taking on Aiden Lewis. We're going to give a little bit of commentary as that match goes on, but we will be giving you a pregame analysis right now of what to expect for today's match between Hofstra and Bucknell. But, Will, I mean, it's got to be great to be back. I mean, been away from the sport for a while. I know personally, as me, I always say it as a former wrestler at the station. For you and I have kind of rode this sport. We're seniors now. We've rode this sport for 4 years, covered this team from a lot of different angles. We covered them on their undefeated EIWA season last year. Covered them a bit for the newspaper side of things, Will, as they sent 7 wrestlers to the NCAA championships last year. I mean, now entering this final season for us, but obviously not the final season, as it's the 75th season for Hofstra Wrestling. We've seen a lot.
We certainly have seen a lot, and I mean, this Hofstra team has seen a lot this season, and especially in the last few matches, the journeyman collegiate duels, they faced some really, really tough opponents with then number 8 Virginia Tech, then number 6 Arizona State, and then number 22 Northern Iowa, all going at it, and tough defeats in all 3 matches, but they held strong and put up some fights, got some points in those matches, and that has led to Hofstra receiving votes in the NCAA poll this week.
Yes, Hofstra is receiving votes in the polls for this week. Not ranked yet, but Hofstra is technically an RV team. Even if it's not a lot of votes, they're still making it. But let's look at some of those old matches we had as the Avedo Switzer match and Lewis match goes on right in front of us here. You wrestled Virginia Tech. That's a team that sent people to the national championships. Arizona State had national champions last year. Northern Iowa sent people to the NCAA tournament who made it to the final day of the tournament as well. Those are tough teams to face, and the fact you're facing 3 of them in just 2 days, while Iowa's there, while Penn State is there, that says a lot about what this program's going up against.
Absolutely, and that's just really what head coach Dennis Papadopoulos wants. He wants to face that tough competition. He loves to schedule matches against tough competition, because to be the best, you have to beat the best. And this is a really tough schedule all throughout the season for Hofstra. I mean, they faced Duke, an ACC opponent. They had the Garden State Grapple earlier in the year against then number 15 Rutgers and then number 19 Wisconsin. American, also a very good team. So a lot of great opponents for the Hofstra Pride this season as far as for this wrestling team, and it's really, I think it's going to really pay off for them come the future.
It definitely will. I mean, you want to schedule those tougher opponents. You don't want to just have an easy schedule to coast, because then it kind of affects you later on here, as right now it's still 0-0 in the match in front of us in the Avedo Switzer match and Lewis match. 0-0, both men battling with each other towards the edge of the mat, closest to the broadcast booth. But as we continue our pregame show while the match goes on in front of us here, looking a bit more around at this Hofstra team as we see what they have coming into today's match. Hofstra going to be entering the contest ranked at 2-6 overall, as a takedown there for Lewis of Bucknell gives him the early 2-0 lead late in the first period. Going to reset here, Lewis on top, Switzer on bottom. Hofstra enters 2-6, as we said, Will, 1-1 in conference, a win at American, but then a loss at Brown. We didn't talk about it, but the Ivy Leagues are back this year after not wrestling last year, as they'll be facing Brown and Harvard, at least on Hofstra's side of it. But it is a factor now that you are facing these Ivy League schools that typically are at school that finish within the top 5 of the EIWA.
And that has been a huge talking point all season long, because Hofstra did send 7 wrestlers to the NCAA tournament last year, but there is that asterisk of you didn't have to face the Ivy League schools, who often take up a lot of those spots for the EIWA in going to the NCAA tournament. So this year it's going to be a lot tougher for the Pride if they want to continue to send wrestlers to the NCAA tournament. And it all starts against this tough competition like a Harvard coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely will. I agree with you there. As we preview a bit more about this Hofstra Pride team, Hofstra, this is the 75th season of wrestling for them. This is just their 5th match since 2000 against Bucknell. 25th all-time meeting. Hofstra does lead the series 15-9, but have not beaten Bucknell since November 24th, 2009. So, Will, the streak could be snapped today, but for Bucknell, they want to get that 5th win in a row since 2000.
Yeah, it's tough to really judge the two programs like that with so much turnover in that time and so few matches between the two. But, from 2019, you still have a number of wrestlers on both sides that are still around. So you can kind of see who's really improved, and maybe you'll see a couple rematches from maybe that 2019 matchup.
And as the second period gets here, Lewis gets the escape for Bucknell. He now leads 3-0. About a minute 45 left in the second period of action between Switzer and Lewis. Again, this match does not count to overall team standings. This is just a little preview match, if you want to call it. The 10 men who will be wrestling today, those next 10 matches will count to the final score for today's dual meet. As we continue to look ahead at the Hofstra Pride here, Hofstra's had some success this season, and Will, something to note, 4 freshmen in the starting lineup, whether it be a true freshman or a redshirt freshman. Jacob Moon, Ty Simmerman, Ross Mcfarland, and Joe McGinty. You have 4 freshmen, and specifically looking at Joe McGinty, 7-7 on the year, 7 wins already for the freshman. A very good sign of the future if you have this many freshmen already starting.
Yes, very impressive, and it's not all of them are really starting under the best of circumstances, because as we talked to head coach Dennis Papadopoulos before the match today, he talked about some of the injuries they have. Of course, Sage Heller not wrestling this season, so there's a lot of that going on within the Hofstra program. But this is a very strong program, and I think giving these guys the opportunities now is going to only help them come the future. And when the big guns come back, you throw them back in the lineup, put out your best lineup. But these guys are getting some really good experience, and we'll see. Maybe a guy like Joe McGinty, you mentioned 7 wins already this season. He can keep his starting spot. He can really battle and keep his starting spot if he wants to. So we'll see how the lineup shakes out as everyone comes back.
And, Will, I think that says a lot about the Hofstra program, too, that you can throw these freshmen, and they're not just losing every match, or they're not struggling. Guys like Joe McGinty, Ross Mcfarland are adapting immediately when they go to the varsity lineup. They're starting already. That just says a lot about the program, and that you have qualified wrestlers that you're recruiting, bringing here, and that are ready to make the jump from the high school to the college level, and they're already performing at a very high level.
And it all comes down to who you recruit and then how you're coaching them. So it's a really great way to build a strong program, build that good foundation to become a big-time program in the IWA. And
again, as we wrap up the second period of action, Lewis leads Switzer 6-2 now. Again, this match not counting. These two just wrestling more for the experience. This will count to their individual records, though, which does affect overall rankings. We talked about Hofstra. Let's flip it over to the Bucknell Bison now. Bucknell coming in at 5-2 with some quality wins in the process. They beat Lock Haven in their last match. And earlier today, Bucknell doing what we like to call the New York, the LIRR ride, wrestling at LIU, and then taking the LIRR here to the Hempstead line to face Hofstra here. They did defeat LIU 29-10. No final stats on that match just yet, but Will, it always raises the question, wrestling a physical sport, a sport where you need to recover quickly. What do you do now to shake that off and come right back to another match? Just really, if the match starts at 12 for LIU, only 2 hours later, because you have to assume a match is going to take an hour to 2 hours.
It's a very, very tough thing to do, to have that kind of turnaround, have 2 matches in a day. But, again, you mentioned it's all about that recovery. You got to make sure you're recovering right, recovering well, and get ready for your next match. But we'll see if Hofstra can kind of take advantage of these possibly tired wrestlers.
And right now, Lewis of Bucknell leading 6-2. His riding time about to hit the 2-minute mark, so he already had the bonus locked up, but officially now the riding time bonus is a factor with only 42 seconds left in the third period here. But for Bucknell, Will, a loaded roster. They have a couple wrestlers ranked as well within the top 25 too for Bucknell, but not wrestling today. Their 165 wrestler in Zach Hartman not wrestling today. Will got to be a factor there that your guy who's ranked top 20 in the country will not be on the mat today.
Absolutely, and especially with a guy like Ricky Stam on the other side for Hofstra, who will be going today. I'm not going to say that this would be an easier victory for Stam, because I'm sure he's still going to have to battle against who he's put up against, but I think that that's a matchup that we're going to kind of miss out on as far as this one goes, because that would have been a really fun one to watch between Stam and Hartman.
Stam, one of those 7 qualifiers last year for Hofstra. And that'll wrap up the pre-match exhibition here as Aiden Lewis of Bucknell comes away with the 7-2 victory. Again, won't count for team score, just for individual records here. And as that wraps up, that means we're about to get started with the big matchup ahead of us, if you want to call it. So let's meet today's starting lineups. Starting for Hofstra at the 125 match, it'll be Jacob Moon, the freshman. He'll be wrestling up against Brandon Siedemann, the senior from Bucknell. At 133, it'll be Ty Simmerman. He'll be going up against Kurt Phillips. At 141, Justin Hoyle, a returner from last year. He'll be taking on Noah Levitt. Levitt dropping down to 141 after starting at 149 this season. Michael Landreau at 149. He'll be taking on Colby DePron. 157, Joe McGinty. He'll be taking on the other side, Nick Delp. 165 will be Ricky Stam. Ricky Stam will be taking on Matt Kidwell. At 174, it'll be Ross Mcfarland. And we'll wrap up the lineups real quick. We're going to turn it over, though, to the national anthem really fast. Welcome back to the Mack. I'm Max Sacco, joined by Will Wiggleman. Moments away between today's matchup between Hofstra and Bucknell. Let's meet the final round of the starters here. At 184, 197, and 285, Will. All 3 of those wrestlers ranked in the top 25. Charles Small, 27 at Intermat. Trey Rogers getting votes for 4 wrestling. And Zachary Knight and Ward, 19th on Intermat. So the final 3 wrestlers for Hofstra all ranked. Charles Small, he'll be taking on Logan DeCitis of Bucknell. Trey Rogers at 197, he'll be taking on Mason Mccready. And Zachary Knight and Ward will be taking on Luke Niemeyer, who's going to be bumping up to heavyweight. Niemeyer losing at LIU today, though, one of the 2 wrestlers for Bucknell not to win while facing the Sharks. Will, for Hofstra, let's always like to play finish the sentence. Hofstra wins today's match if.
I think if you go into those last 3 matches and you are even or close, you're going to win, because those last 3 are your big boys. They have been around for a while. You mentioned they're all ranked. They are the anchors of your team, especially Zachary Knight and Ward at the heavyweight division. So I think if the early few guys can keep it close at least, then I think the Pride can pull it out in those last 3.
And Will, you have to remember here for this Hofstra Pride team, all 3 of those last guys qualified for the NCAA tournament. So not only are you taking on ranked wrestlers, you're taking on NCAA qualifiers for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are some of the best wrestlers in the EIWA, regardless of, with or without the Ivy League schools involved. So those are going to be really tough ones for Bucknell, and I think Hofstra has an opportunity in those last 3 to steal the dual meet if they have to.
And we're wrapping up the starting lineups here as they're announcing just the final ones. Again, Hofstra 15-9 all-time against Bucknell. 25th meeting between these two squads, but Hofstra has not beaten Bucknell since November 24th, 2009. We'll see if that changes today. As for Bucknell, they want to see if they can get win number 3 in a row. For Hofstra, it's if they can get back in the winning column. And again, this is the home opener too, Will, so a little extra on the line for both of these two. For Hofstra, at least it's the first game of the year here, as head coach Dennis Papadopoulos is announcing his 6th season at the helm. Will, he's done a great job of turning this program back into a contender.
Absolutely. I mean, there were some tough years, especially when he first started. He went 5-11 his first season, 5-13, but last year, 2-1. Overall in dual meets, 2019-20. We remember 11-5 overall, 7-0 in the EIWA. So Coach Papadopoulos has recruited well, and we've talked about the freshmen this year, some of the younger guys getting opportunities and being competitive and making noise. So that's just another mark on Coach Papadopoulos' record.
And now we get ready to start up today's match. It's Jacob Moon entering the match at 1-6 so far this season. On the other end of the mat, it's going to be Brandon Seidman, wearing his Bucknell uniform with white and the blue leggings, if you want to call it. Hofstra, the all-white uniforms with a little trim on the bottom. Seidman enters the match 8-8, 3-3 in dual meet play, and we continue. Each man at neutral right now, just feeling each other out at the center of the mat here. A bit of a tie-up as well. Seidman snapped him down, but Moon not falling for the bait. 0-0, 2:35 to go in the first. Moon trying to get some arm control there away from Seidman, but Seidman doing a good job at pushing him back a bit. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Max Sacco, joined by Will Wiggleman. We just started today's match at the 125-pound weight class between Hofstra and Bucknell, so we're not starting in the middle today, Will. We're going to go lightest to heaviest today. Pretty simple.
It's a little bit easier to keep track of when we go this way for sure.
You could say a little easier for sure, Will, as Moon tied up with Seidman trying to grapple around him. Still no movement a minute into this first period. Each man tied up with one another. They reset back to neutral.
They look like they've been kind of feeling each other out for the first minute or so of this match.
And, well, that's always what you see in these wrestling matches. First minute or so, you just feel out your opponent, see where the weakness is. A shot there from Seidman. Good sprawl from Moon. Moon trying to get around for the 2 points. He can't. But a little bit of our first action of the afternoon, Will, as each men go out of bounds there. A second shot from Seidman. So Moon doing a good job at defending, but Seidman a lot more attacking here.
I think Moon got a little bit lucky on that going out of bounds there, because if Seidman could have kept his foot in there, he might have been able to get a couple of points.
Each man still feeling each other out a bit. About a $1:20 left in the first period here of the 125 match between Hofstra and Bucknell. Seidman throwing a couple fakes in. Moon trying to defend a bit. Seidman fakes the shot. Moon ties up with him. Moon does have control of his right hand, but Seidman has the left hand, so a bit of a neutral, if you want to call it, Will, between these two. Less than a minute remaining in the first period, still tied at 0. Moon and Seidman still for each other. A fake shot there from Moon. He decides to pull back a bit. They each tie up with each other once again. 35 seconds left in the first period. Moon trying to go for the ankle pick, but Seidman doing a good job at defending it here. Each man back on their feet now. Less than 30 seconds to go in the first period, still knotted at 0. Each man tied up with one another. 10 seconds left now. 5 seconds left now. Each man just tied up with each other, and it looks like that will end the first period. We're tied at 0 in the home opener here for Hofstra Wrestling between Jacob Moon and Braden Seidman.
And really that was a period of feeling each other out. Neither wrestler took too many shots. think maybe 2 from Seidman and maybe 1 from Moon throughout that entire period, and they came really close together. So we'll see if Moon can get out of this and get the first point of the match.
So Moon shows bottom. Can he break out here? Seidman returning him to the mat twice now. Still no action. Moon trying to break out of that grip from Seidman, and he does. So Hofstra strikes first in the 125 match, with Jacob Moon scoring first. It's 1-0 with about 1:30 left, but some riding time started to accumulate there for Seidman. Not a lot, just 14 seconds, but should be noted.
It should be, but I think for Moon to just get that first point out of the way after a scoreless first period was important. So it was a good decision, I think, to pick the bottom to start this second.
And for Hofstra, they have not wrestled in about 2 weeks here. You got to think, just a little bit of rest on these wrestlers here. They're still practicing, but again, not in that dual meet or tournament style competition.
Absolutely, and it's tough when you're not getting that game action, that game speed all the time.
Seidman close to getting the leg there for the single leg on Moon, but Moon breaks out of it again. Moon might not be shooting that much or going for that many moves. Seidman running the tempo a bit here, but very good defense from Moon so far to break away from some of those double leg takedowns.
And Seidman also trying to get in Moon's head a little bit. See a lot of shots towards Moon's head.
And that's what those moves are for, just to get in their head here, try to force a mistake early on. 30 seconds left in the second period. Jacob Moon still ahead 1-0 for Hofstra. Match score still dual meet score still overall 0-0, but the match, it's 1-0 Moon and Hofstra. 18 seconds left now. Each man still feeling each other out. Just at the left-hand side of the mat by the Hofstra H. Another tie up here with the two. 5 seconds left now, and that will end the second period. Jacob Moon ahead 1-0, and you have to assume Seidman's going to be choosing bottom here to try to tie up the match at 1.
Yes, you'd think so. So that's the choice. So it's really going to come down to who can actually land a shot, when they take them.
Again, if he wants to get the extra point, and a caution issued to Seidman. They're just a bit too aggressive standing up right away. 1-0, and you got to hold him for at least a minute to get that riding time bonus here. Minute 14, he's got to eat away at the first 14 seconds of riding time that Seidman had already accumulated. Seidman stands up right away. Moon has him by the right leg, but Seidman slips out, stumbles a bit as he falls out of the mat, but we're back to neutral. We're tied up at 1 here. Seidman takes the double leg shot. Can he get around? And Moon again sprawling for that defense there. Defense has been Jacob Moon's strategy all match, and it's paying off. Can Seidman get to the leg and slip by to get those 2 points and the first takedown points at the Mack in 2022? Tied up on the far side of the mat. Whistle blown. We go back to neutral. Referee said it was a deadlock. A minute 18. 1-1 here at the 125 weight mat.
And that was a huge sprawl there by Moon. Great defense. We've talked about all match long how great defense Moon has been playing. He's really keeping his composure. And at some point, though, he's going to have to take a shot.
You don't want to go to overtime, because that does bring up factors of its own that you got to compete with. But right now, you have to think that Moon wants to get this win. These regular 7 minutes of action here.
No riding time bonus for this one.
Yeah, so if nothing happens, we will be going to an extra time frame there. Shot there from Seidman, but Moon again using that defense. Seidman shoots again, and right there, Moon capitalizes on the mistake from Seidman. No points yet. They say he's not all the way around, so no points, It looked like he had it. Now Seidman trying to get the reversal here to get the points on Moon. Moon fighting on his head now, 25 seconds left. And no points there. They say they're still fighting as Moon. Does he get around yet? No 2 points yet. We are still tied up. No points. Both teams asking for points here. They're waiting to see if he's all the way around. Whistle blown. We go to neutral, and Jacob Moon slides out of a difficult situation there to avoid getting taken down. But at the same time, Seidman does the exact same to Moon.
What a big turn of events there. in a that was the most action we've seen really this entire match. Neither wrestler able to get anything out of it, and we will go to overtime in our first match of the day.
Yeah, overtime for the first match on the home opener, something you don't really see that much, especially in the lighter weight classes, Will. It's usually a bit more of an acrobatic event, but just to go over the rules for everyone at home, first man to score a takedown wins. If it goes to double overtime, escapes are at play, but again, it's first to 2 points. So let's start with overtime 1, though. 2 minutes back on the clock for overtime period 1. First takedown wins it. Seidman fakes the shot, sends Moon down to his knees to block it. Will for Moon, he did get aggressive there towards the end of the third period, but almost backfired. You have to think there's a little bit more gas in the tank here if he wants to come away with the win in this extra frame.
And we'll see, because you're right, he has been defending most of this match, and maybe he can turn it around on Seidman right here.
Seidman did take a shot. Moon sprawls to defend it. Can Moon break around to get to his back? He can't. We reset back at neutral. 1:23 left in the third. Shot there from Seidman. Moon tries to get around. He can't. We reset again back to neutral. We're at the top half of the mat. 1:10 remaining in the third period. Seidman and Moon tying up with one another. 1-1 in the match, a low-scoring affair. Shot there from Moon. Reshot there from Seidman. They're tied up at the ground. Whoever can break around to the other person first should lock up this win. Seidman and Moon knotted up. Now Moon trying to break around there. Moon trying to bail himself out one more time. Seidman trying to wrap this match up. Now Seidman fighting to get the 2 points if he can get the reversal. Each man knotted up here. Referee's not awarding points. Whistle blown, and it's a deadlock. We go back to neutral. 38 seconds left in overtime period 1. Match still tied at 1 here. Overall dual meet score still 0s.
Well, I've been impressed with Jacob Moon's defense all match long, and he showed it once again. Just not giving up those 2 points.
And Will, that's what we talk about, a little bit of extra gas in the tank for Jacob Moon, the true freshman starting today for Hofstra. Moon blocks the shot from Seidman. Moon a lot more aggressive now in these last 20 seconds. Moon shoots, Seidman sprawls now. Now the roles have been reversed. Moon the aggressor.
I was going to say, with all that defense, at some point you're going to have to get some offense going.
They go out of bounds. No points given. They say no 2 points. He's not fully around. And there it is. 2 points finally. And right at the buzzer, Brandon Seidman comes away with the win at the buzzer over Jacob Moon, literally scoring Will the takedown with less than 3 seconds left at the edge of the mat.
Well, Moon played fantastic defense all match long, but at some point you got to get around, you got to score some points, and he just wasn't able to do that.
I definitely agree, Will. As we move on to the 133 match with Kurt Phillips of Bucknell taking on Ty Simmerman of your Hofstra Pride. Simmerman, a freshman, again one of these true freshmen in the starting lineup. Phillips, a sophomore for Bucknell. Phillips already shooting. Simmerman, good job on defense there. Bucknell leading 3-0 in the overall dual meet now. Still 0-0 in the match as we just started about 15 seconds ago.
And Simmerman looking for his first dual meet win of the season and of his Hofstra career.
Simmerman looking for dual meet win number 1, as Will just said. Does have a couple wins in tournament play, though. But again, still looking for dual meet win number 1 of his Hofstra career as he makes the jump from high school to varsity. As for his opponent, Kurt Phillips, he enters the match 11-6, 5-1 in dual meet duels as he shoots on Phillips. Simmerman, as Phipps looking to get around Simmerman. He's got Simmerman on his head. Phipps trying to break around his legs to get the 2 points here as they're tied up. And you see Phipps starting to stand up, Will, just a second away from getting this turn. But again, good defense all day from these Hofstra Pride freshmen. I know it's early, but defense has been the focal point so far for the Hofstra Pride.
And you are seeing that that's a point of emphasis. That's a point of emphasis for Coach Papadopoulos and this Hofstra team, because once you build that defensive base, then you can get to the offense. And if you have a really good defense, once you score some points, it's going to be tough to beat you.
And going for a Turk, it appears, as Phipps. That's for Simmerman, who's trying to break out of it. And now Simmerman trying to go for a reversal, and Simmerman gets the reversal for 2 points on Phipps. So now we're getting some riding time here. for Zimmerman, the freshman. Zimmerman keeping Phipps down. But right when Phipps thought he had control, he was reversed. And now Zimmerman has the lead, 2-0.
And that's what some great defense can do. That's exactly what Jacob Moon was trying to do during that 125 match. That's what Ty Zimmerman was able to do. Get that reversal, get around, and turn that defense into offense.
Zimmerman on top, riding time eclipsing 30 seconds. Again, you need a minute to start getting that bonus point at the end of the match. Zimmerman keeping Phipps down. Phipps trying to reverse it, though. Zimmerman caught himself in a pickle, and now Phipps reversed it, has Zimmerman on his back, it appears, from our angle here. Getting some back points now. He's trying to get that back shoulder of Zimmerman on, and Kurt Phipps ties this match up at 2 on a reversal with 30 seconds left in the first. Zimmerman sees that riding time start to go away here. Zimmerman trying to build his base up, but he's got that right arm tucked away, Will. And now Phipps is trying to hold on to that left arm, too, as he's going for a turn.
As legs also just stuck cross over each other. Phipps doing a great job holding his legs in place.
5 seconds left, and that'll end the first period of action here at the 133 match. We're knotted up at 2, and all that riding time has been erased. So riding time back to 0. It's going to be Bucknell's call. They defer. Hofstra's going to pick. Hofstra choosing to take bottom. As associate head coach now promoted, Jamie Franco will. Hofstra's head coaching staff had a bit of a change this year as we await to start here as well. Jamie Franco promoted to associate head coach for Hofstra. And Franco specializes in those lighter weight classes as well for the Hofstra Pride. Head coach Dennis Papadopoulos a bit more in the middleweight classes as well. And we'll reveal the new third head coach later on in this dual meet as well when it gets to those bigger guys at the 130 weight class. Coach Dennis Papadopoulos wants a review there. He says he had him on his back there on the reversal there, on Phipps, as he says Zimmerman had the pin. Ty Zimmerman trying to break out of this tie-up from Phipps. Phipps doing a good job, gets his riding time up, and now Phipps sets Zimmerman back down onto his stomach. Minute 20 left in the second period. Match tied at 2. Bucknell leading 3-0, though, in the dual meet.
That riding time approaching a minute here for Phipps, and that could become important in a tied match.
Riding time does eclipse 1 minute, as they say Zimmerman has not left riding time all period long. He's trying to kick out, but Phipps showing how he has that 5-1 record in dual meets, Will, as he's had control all period long in the second frame of action.
He's very strong with his legs. Zimmerman can't really get much going as he tries to build his base with his legs.
And Will, you see it right there, the tie-up on that left leg there from Phipps has given a tough time for Zimmerman, like you said. But, Will, I'm looking at the arms here. He's had control of the right arm of Zimmerman all match long so far, as Phipps about to hit the 2-minute mark if he can keep him down for 20 more seconds.
Really not much doing for Zimmerman here as he tries to build his base. Phipps with a great job on his back.
Now Zimmerman turning around. He's trying to cancel it out. That ends the second period. And Kurt Phipps on top for the entire period. So, Will, it's going to be Phipps' call here. And Phipps chooses bottom, so if he gets the escape, Will, the riding time is all but guaranteed. So it's really a 3-2 match right now. You have to take it that way if you're Ty Zimmerman.
Absolutely, and we'll see how Zimmerman's able to reverse on Phipps, because Phipps did so well on Zimmerman on his back that entire second period. We'll see if Zimmerman can turn it back on him here in the third.
Zimmerman really just has to keep him down for 1 minute, 1 second if he wants to erase the riding time bonus. So far, it's been successful. He's got him for 20 seconds. Phipps trying to break off that arm from Zimmerman. Zimmerman getting pushed out of the edge of the mat, closest to our broadcast table over here. Zimmerman back on top. Zimmerman goes for that leg there. He's trying to break around, get back, hold control. Now minute 25 of riding time. That's all that's left for Phipps. Whistle blown, it's neutral. We're going to remain where we were, though, with Zimmerman on top, Phillips on bottom. 2-2, 1:21 left in the third period. Bucknell leads 3-0 overall in the dual meet.
That was a big 40 or so seconds for Ty Zimmerman to work that riding time down, and he'll get another opportunity here.
Zimmerman still holding him down, Will. Impressive so far from, again, the second true freshman to start in a row for Hofstra and one of 4 freshmen to be in the starting lineup for today. And a quick reversal there, and Phillips trying to reverse it on Zimmerman. No points just yet, but Will, riding time no longer a factor as it's off the table now, but the same problem is now that Phillips has reversed it on Zimmerman. Phillips trying to just push himself over here to get the official 2 points. They say it's not officially 2 points. Bucknell's head coach not happy with that one. Dan Winsberger saying that there should be 2 points there. Still no 2 points. Still 2-2 in this match. 30 seconds left in the third period. Riding time not a factor anymore, so we could be facing overtime period. Another overtime period. As Phillips is pushing for 2 points on Zimmerman. Zimmerman fighting back now. And Phillips gets the 2 points he's been looking for in a reversal. So now Bucknell gets the lead again with 10 seconds left. Zimmerman trying to get for a reversal himself now. Zimmerman kicking his leg. 5 seconds left. 3 left. And that ends the third period. Kurt Phillips gets the win, and Will, twice in a row now, Bucknell stealing it from Hofstra in the final seconds of a period.
Well, that was a really good match, but right at the end there, it was Curtis Phillips getting that 2. I mean, Bucknell thought that 2 should have come a lot sooner than it did, but Phillips did eventually get it, and picks up a close victory.
It's been very close so far. As we go to the 141 match, it'll be Justin Hoyle, a sophomore, 6-7, 3-5 in duels this year, taking on Noah Levitt, who drops down to 141. Levitt, 2-5 this year, 1-3 in dual meets, and already a lot of aggressiveness out of the gate from Levitt.
Justin Hoyle, a little more experienced than the previous 2 Hofstra wrestlers.
Hoyle's counterpart, Vinny Vespa, at 141, qualified last year. Good defense there from the shot. Hoyle trying to get around Levitt, but Levitt and Hoyle are stood up with each other again. Levitt going for 2 points, and immediately Hoyle reverses it on Levitt and gets the 2 points. So Justin Hoyle will start on top as head coach Jamie Franco happy with his start from the sophomore wrestler.
He had got a lot of experience his freshman year, did Justin Hoyle, and he's really showing it in this one. He gets a nice quick 2.
Hoyle getting that riding time on Levitt, and Will, it should be noted last year at 141, Vinny Vespa went to the EIWA championships and the NCAA championships. For Justin Hoyle, you get a year to learn under a senior like that as a freshman, and it's paying off right here on the mat.
Absolutely, going up against another senior right now in Levitt.
2-1 in this match as Levitt did get the escape a couple seconds ago. So 2-1. Hoyle still leads. 1:53 left in the first, and a bit of riding time on the table as well. Not a lot, but 11 seconds. But a bit of riding time is on the table, like an appetizer if you want to call it.
It's something. Not going to do much for you, but it's there.
It is there. As these two are tied up and they go out of bounds again. 1:38 left in the first. We reset at neutral. And Will, just as Hoyle was in charge, now Levitt starting to dictate the tempo of this match as we saw right up there at the top half of the mat.
We'll see how Justin Hoyle, if he's able to respond against the veteran in Levitt.
Hoyle tied up with Levitt. Now Hoyle trying to reverse that tie-up, but Levitt deciding to reset. Each man tying up with one another at the center H at the Hofstra mat. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Mack Sacco, joined by Will Wiggleman. Hofstra down 6-0 in the dual meet today against Bucknell, but right now in the 141 match, it's Justin Hoyle leading 2-1 with 1:15 left in the first period in today's home opener for Hofstra Pride Wrestling as they compete in their 75th year of wrestling.
A lot of success in those 75 years for Hofstra, especially in the last decade or so of the CAA.
And now will the EIA generation starting to pay off as Hoyle gets the single leg on the quick reversal. Can Hoyle get the takedown as well? Hoyle takes him down looking for 2 points, and Hoyle gets the 2 points. Justin Hoyle, his second takedown this period. He's got a 4-1 lead with 45 seconds left. As Levitt pulls himself out of the mat there to force the reset. Levitt will start on bottom, Hoyle on top. But, Will, this is an aggressiveness. We haven't seen that much from Hofstra today, but now we're starting to see it.
Yeah, a lot more action in this one versus the first two matches so far, for sure. And Justin Hoyle taking advantage.
Hoyle not letting Levitt stand up as Hoyle brings him out again. Reset again. It will be Levitt on bottom, Hoyle still on top. 34 seconds left of the first period.
And he's still working up that riding time, now up to 28 seconds, almost halfway to a minute to get that bonus point. And still 2 periods left to go after this half minute.
Hoyle still in control, gets behind Levitt. He's trying to break down Levitt's base, not give him an arm to work with, and he is. He's keeping him down, Will. As you saw, Levitt tried to get that left arm free, but Hoyle prevents it. Hoyle holding Levitt down. Levitt trying to stand up. Can Levitt get out now? And Levitt gets the escape to make it 4-2 with, again, just in the nick of time. That's been the theme for Bucknell today. As Bucknell been getting a lot of points in those final 10 seconds, they will. And they've gotten 2 wins in the final 10 seconds as well today. And just like that, again, they're keeping themselves in this match with that last-minute escape.
It's all about fighting to the end. You got to go till the buzzer, and that's exactly what Bucknell has been doing all match long.
So Hofstra defers. Bucknell chooses to go on the bottom. Riding time at 53 seconds, so if he holds him down for 7 seconds, riding time does become an official factor today. Bucknell gets an extra point as well, as Levitt did lock his hands up. Cannot do that around somebody's neck. Cannot put him in a chokehold, for lack of a better word. We're knotted up at 4 now, but Will, riding time has eclipsed 1 minute for Justin Hoyle.
And that's a big point right now, as we are tied back up. Hoyle had that 4-1 lead, but Levitt doing a great job to come back and tie things back up. He's the more experienced wrestler, and he showed it over the last couple of minutes.
And, Will, we've seen that all day today. These freshmen and sophomores taking on seniors so far for Bucknell. Again, Hofstra's lineup gets a little older the later on you go here, as these two knotted up with each other. But, Will, as we said, it's great to see the youth of this program, the freshmen and sophomores, performing already at such a high level.
Absolutely, and we've seen in we saw in those first 2 matches the focus on defense for Coach Papadopoulos.
Bit of a tie-up here between Bucknell and Hofstra. Looking for an advantage is Hoyle, and Hoyle gets the 2 points as he drags out Levitt out of bounds, but Justin Hoyle back in the lead, Will, 6-4, really 7-4, as that riding time just continues to increase.
And if he can hold that, that would be, again, a big point, because we've seen Levitt's ability to come back in this match so far, so that riding time bonus could come into effect later on.
Levitt did win at LIU today as he tries to stand up, but Hoyle doing a great job of keeping him down so far in this second period. That riding time number just continuing to get higher for the sophomore. And Levitt, Will, as he gets dragged out by the broadcaster's booth, you saw take a deep breath there. He doesn't want to be in this situation, but he's trying to break out of it.
We'll see what kind of experience he can pull from to get out of it, and maybe see if he can get out of it by the end of this second period, or maybe Justin Hoyle will be able to increase that riding time to almost 2 minutes.
30 seconds left, and Hoyle gets him down on his back. Do we have a pin? No. No back points there, but for a second, Will, it looked like Hoyle might have a pin at the end of the second period.
It was very, very close there, Max.
15 seconds left. Hoyle up 6-4, riding time set to eclipse almost the 2-minute mark. Levitt trying to stand up, he can't. Hoyle in control, takes him down, but during the process again, Levitt slips out at the buzzer. And it's 5-6 now, Hofstra's choice. And interestingly enough, Hoyle chooses bottom. Well, it looks like he wants to get that bonus point to make it 7-5.
You want to get that other point, and you do have plenty of clock on that riding time, 56 seconds to play with until you lose that bonus.
And a caution issued to Levitt. They're just a bit too aggressive on the grab, so got to be careful. And you notice, Will, for Hoyle, chooses to take a wider stance when he's on bottom there to give himself more space to build up his base with his legs. as he's trying to keep his hands free from Levitt. Hofstra again down 6-0 in the dual meet, but they're up 6-5 in a very closely contested 141 match. Hoyle standing up, but Levitt in control of that right leg of Hoyle. Hoyle breaks free, gets out, and he's up 7-5. Whistle blown, and Hoyle wants to check the trainer out. We don't want to speculate what the injury is, but it looks like the leg as he points to his knee.
Yeah, looks like he's working on that right leg. Kind of had it tied up in Levitt there as he was trying to build up and get back up.
Coach
he was kind of limping over to the Hofstra bench as the trainer came out to meet him. And this would be unfortunate if Hoyle's unable to continue because he does have a lead here. He does have that riding time bonus at the moment. And this would be a big momentum boost for the Pride if he's able to finish and complete the victory.
Definitely a big momentum boost, Will. As Hoyle's able to stand up and, Will, he's walking back on the mat. He wants to finish this match out. A little bit of a limp, though, for him as he walks back out. We're going to reset. It'll be Hoyle on top with Levitt on bottom.
And we'll see if Levitt tries to go for a single leg takedown to either grab at that weaker leg or force Hoyle to bounce on that weaker leg.
We'll remember, riding time is a factor. As he gets the escape, it's 6-7, but really you got to treat it as 8-7, as riding time does give the extra point to Hoyle.
It is a 2-point match right now.
And Will, immediately you see Levitt a lot more aggressive going for those single leg takedowns here than he was in the first two periods. Looking at that right leg of Hoyle. As they're tied up on their knees, Hoyle stands up, tries to get around on Levitt. 1 minute remaining now in the third period. Riding time not locked in just yet. We need to eclipse a couple more seconds here. Hoyle just pushing away on Levitt, trying to burn out this match right here.
You know Hoyle would be content to play this match on his knees.
Hoyle decides to take a shot. He's fighting against Levitt as Hoyle scoots out of bounds to reset, and Will, riding time is locked in, so it's an 8-6 match if you want to call it here. For Levitt, you got to be looking. He's going to be going for a takedown now to get 2 points.
And that's huge for Justin Hoyle to get to that threshold, because you know you have that extra point in your back pocket.
30 seconds left here in the home opener for Hofstra Wrestling today at the Mack. Hoyle trying to hold on. Hoyle going for, tied up with Levitt now in what's been the most exciting match of the afternoon so far. 15 seconds left in the third period. Hoyle looking to hold on. Quick shot there from Levitt is pushed away. Levitt again fakes the shot. 8 seconds left now. Hoyle just playing defense. Shot there from Levitt. Hoyle gets down to his base. Does Hoyle get taken down? And a quick reversal there from Hoyle would have got him 2 points. The riding time bonus gets locked in, and Justin Hoyle picks up the first win for Hofstra this year in the home opener. And Hoyle, helped up by his opponent, gets his hand raised. Justin Hoyle fights through the pain.
As a gutsy
again,
performance.
Dan Wernsberger upset with the referee stays. He calls for a stalling call. Even with the call, Will, it wouldn't have mattered, as Hoyle still would have came away with the win.
Justin Hoyle with a gutsy performance there. He's now going to receive some medical attention. That was a great performance from Justin Hoyle, and that's the type of thing that can invigorate a team and really just get that bench going, and we'll see if this is a turning point.
Move to 149 now. Michael Landreau of Hofstra taking on Kobe DePron of Bucknell. DePron enters this match 15-6, 3-1 in dual meet play. Landreau 5-10, 1-7 in dual meet play. DePron a freshman, Landreau a sophomore, and DePron already a bit more aggressive on the local as Landreau hails from Oyster Bay. DePron trying to break around the ankle and get to the back of Landreau as Landreau put in that tight spot we've seen in the earlier matches today. Landreau trying to break around. Can he get fully through for the 2 points? And DePron and Landreau tied up. Landreau sat on his stomach, but no one getting around the other person yet. They're tied up with each other. Landro trying to use the foot, whistle blown. They call it. They say it's a deadlock, so we're going to go back to neutral. But Colby DePron, aggressive so far in this opening minute.
And Leandro was in tight situation there. He looked very, very close to being on his back, but great defense, great flexibility to continue to push out of it. And now he has an opportunity to continue the match.
Landro on his knees again, goes for the double leg takedown. He can as DePron sprawls. DePron trying to break around now, grabs that back leg, trying to get around him. Grabbing that back leg is Landro. Landro set on his stomach again. DePron going for a Turk wheel. He's got that left leg. You have to think he's going to be going for that right arm as well to try to fold them up, but instead, Landro breaks out of it. And Will, these last two matches giving us a lot of fireworks early on here at the Mack as we start to reach these middle weight classes.
In the early weight classes, the smaller weight classes, you kind of saw a little bit more of a feeling out process. These last two, this one and the 141, action right from the start.
And the shot there from Landro is dodged by DePron. DePron capitalizes to get on top to make it 2-0 with 1 minute left in the first. And now DePron going for a Turk. He's got Landro in the Turk. He's got Landro on his back. He's getting back points. Landro not set to his back, but 4 points already awarded to Colby DePron and Bucknell. He's got 4 points, and again he's got caught in the Turk situation, and he's pinned. And Michael Landro pinned about 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the first period, and Colby DePron comes away with the win. And his 16th win of the year.
DePron very, very aggressive throughout that entire match, and Leandro just couldn't, he just wasn't able to handle it, and that just leads to a tough decision, tough pin for Michael Leandro.
We head now to the 157 match. It's going to be Joe McGinty. Again, one of these 3 true freshmen starting, one of 4 freshmen overall starting. McGinty, 7-7 this year, 3-5 in dual meets. He'll be taking on Nick Delp of Bucknell. Delp this season, 5-7, 3-3 at 157. McGinty flexible on his weight. We've seen him wrestle at 165 this year. We've also seen him wrestle at 157 like today. And Hofstra looks to get back into this one as they're down 12-3 overall in the dual meet. McGinty tying up with Delp. Delp and McGinty just pacing around each other back and forth at the center of the mat, feeling each other out here. If you're just tuning in, I'm Max Sacco. We are at the halfway point of today. Quick shot there from Delp is blocked as we reset back to neutral. We're at the halfway point of today's match, 5th match of the day, 10 matches overall. Hofstra down 9, 12-3 against Bucknell in today's home opener for the Hofstra Pride at the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex. McGinty and Delp feeling each other out.
I think if McGinty can get a good result here, that puts Hofstra right back in this match with a lot of good wrestlers for the Pride coming up still. You still got Ricky Stam, you still got Charles Small, Trey Rogers, Zachary Knight, Warrior, of course, Ross Mcfarland, good in his own right.
And Will, 4 of those 5 guys you just mentioned NCAA qualifiers last year as well. So heavy hitters, if you want to call it, coming up for the Hofstra Pride in the back 5. McGinty and Delp tied up, and now they get a takedown there, and it's Delp who gets the first 2 points in this match. Trying to avoid the cradle is McGinty. He doesn't want to get caught. Still battling one another here. Nobody has the advantage just yet. Delp getting a lot of riding time so far between these two opponents, as that riding time bonus will already becoming a factor. He's eclipsed the 30-second mark, and we're still early on in this match.
And that's huge because of how close these matches have been so far, especially the first 3 that all 3 ended in a regular decision. So that riding time bonus could become a factor here.
It's a factor you cannot rule out, as it's been the wins and losses of a lot of these matches here between these two opponents. 40 seconds left in the first period, and riding time has officially eclipsed the 1 minute mark for Nick Delp of the Bucknell Bison.
30 seconds.
McGinty down 2-0, really 3-0 if you want to call it, but a lot of time left to shave off those riding time points. Delp trying to break around McGinty. He can't. He's going for a turn as Delp. You see him getting that arm under his left arm there, trying to turn him over to his back and get another pin for the Bucknell Bison. And that ends the first period just like that. Nick Delp in control. He's got 1:40 of riding time and the first takedown as well. McGinty defers the choice. Bucknell selects bottom. Will they want to get that 3-0 lead? You can't get 3 points on a takedown, so they're looking to just solidify this lead here.
Well, we'll see if McGinty can take advantage of this opportunity to work down that riding time.
Trying to stand up is Delp, but McGinty doing a good job of keeping him down. McGinty rolls, trying to roll out of that one or get the reversal, but he can't. Good defense there for McGinty to keep it down. And Will, we said it before, I'll say it again. Other than the fireworks that Justin Hoyle gave, his defense has been the name of the game for the Hofstra Pride today. As McGinty tries to get it instead, a quick reversal there. No reversal, actually, no points given to Delp. We thought there were 2 points there. Instead, now McGinty trying to get the reversal out of it. McGinty trying to reverse, and a reversal there, though. So now Delp gets 2 points on the reversal, and his riding time starting to go back up again.
It's already still, again, over a minute on Joe McGinty. McGinty trying to get an escape here, trying to reset.
You see McGinty has a base. He has his left hands, but instead we have Delp. He's looking for the turn, Will. He's got his arms locked up between the legs. Whistle blown, they scooch out of bounds. It'll be McGinty on bottom, Delp on top of Will. Delp is able to get his arms around and get that lock. And if he can hold that and just pull back a bit, he's got a turn waiting for him. Joe McGinty back on bottom, trying to stand up. Delp ties up his legs, Will. Gets that left ankle. Delp and McGinty knotted up at the center of the Hofstra mat. 40 seconds left in the second period. Delp up 4-0 for the Bucknell Bison. Delp caught on his back. McGinty tries to stand up. Couldn't. 30 seconds left. Bucknell up 4-0 in the match. 12-3 in the dual meet overall. McGinty trying to stand up. And Will... he almost gets the escape. He doesn't pop up. McGinty caught on the ground. McGinty trying to get the reverse. Now he's got Delp on his back. He's going for the reverse. And McGinty can't get the reverse just yet. That ends the second period. McGinty oh so close to reverse, Will, but the clock just not on his side in that moment.
No, not at all. He was starting to get some positive things going right at the end, but unfortunately, he's going to lose the riding time points. So right now, he's down 5 points at the start of this third period.
And Will, just 40 seconds are needed on top for Nick Delp if he wants to lock in the riding time bonus. As Delp already breaks down McGinty down to his stomach here. Delp tying up his legs. And again, you see that leg tie up on that left leg. It's worked all afternoon for Delp, and it worked in the 149 matchup as well. As Landro and McGinty caught in similar situations here. As riding time is officially locked in for Bucknell, so really call it a 5-0 match if you want right now, Will, for Nick Delp and the Bucknell Bison. McGinty trying to build his base. He can't as Delp, the sophomore from New Kensington, PA, has been in control all match long right now. We're just about to hit the 1 minute mark left in the third period. McGinty trying to stand up. Trying to go for the turn. McGinty looking for a reversal. Can he find it? Delp trying to turn him onto his shoulders, going for that And now McGinty's starting to build his base up. You see his base getting built. He's standing up. He's going for a hip throw. And McGinty stands up, holds the leg of Delp. This could be big if he gets a takedown. Instead decides to cut him loose. It's really 5-1, 4-1 right now, but riding time's a factor. He's got to go for 2 takedowns in a row here if you're Joe McGinty. McGinty fighting for that takedown. Instead, the sprawl from Delp with 20 seconds left in the third period. McGinty pushing up. Delp sprawled on top, trying to spin around with the back. 10 seconds left. And even with some fireworks late in the third there, Nick Delp holds on to win 5-1, Will. McGinty had some action at the end there, but it was a little bit of a case of too little, too late.
And you heard Coach Jamie Franco yelling for him to just take that 1 point. He was yelling it to him near the end of that second period, and McGinty didn't do it. McGinty eventually did do it right at the end, at that third, but as you said, too little, too late for Joe McGinty. And now Pride in a big hole right now as they get to Ricky Stam.
And Will, I don't think there's a better moment for Ricky Stam to come on the mat. Hofstra down 15-3. They need some pins and major decisions if they want to pull themselves back into this one here. And it's Ricky Stam, the NCAA qualifier, taking on Matt Kidwell of Bucknell. Kidwell, a sophomore from Philadelphia. Ricky Stam, a local product of Levittown, New York. Stam again an NCAA qualifier, the redshirt senior, taking on the sophomore. Stam tying up with Kidwell. Takes the shot, no good there. Tries to break him down again as Ricky Stam. Stam and Kidwell. Again, the big story, Zach Hartman, not wrestling day for Bucknell. Now a quick shot there from Kidwell pays off. As Kidwell has the leg of Stam. And Will, not a spot we thought we'd find Ricky Stam in today, but Ricky Stam trying to break out, go for the reversal. And Ricky Stam gets the 2-point reversal, Will. So just as we thought there was some trouble for Ricky Stam, he gets right back in control. 2-0, minute 40 left in the first period.
Just how he drew it up. That's kind of right where he wanted him.
And Will, the opponent today, Matt Kidwell, only 1-2 so far. Has not wrestled a dual meet yet, only 3 matches under his belt, as Stam allows for the quick escape from Kidwell. So a match of experience versus still fresh to the college scene, battling in front of us. Stam controlling the arms of Kidwell. Stam still trying to snap him down a bit, in control. Stam looking for a shot. He can't find one just yet. Stam trying to snap him down and break around. Stam breaks down that arm of Kidwell. Stam looking around and gets to get around. He can't. Kidwell continuing to fight back from Stam and stand up. And he gets the leg. Kidwell gets Stam's leg again, but again, Stam going for the reversal. Stam pushing through, and Stam, if he can get that leg free, will get the reversal. He's Kidwell grasping that leg as hard as he can of Stam. Kidwell fighting for the reversal. Stam looking for the reversal, Kidwell trying to avoid getting reversed. He's arguing there's 2 points there. Coach Dennis Papadano says there should be 2. 13 seconds left in the first period. Stam still fighting, has that leg locked up by Kidwell. 8 seconds left. He's arguing that there's 2 points, and Dennis Papadano says there should be 2. And well, at least from my eyes, it looked like there was 2 points there for Ricky Stam and a reversal.
I think it was a very similar play to earlier, a few matches ago, when Bucknell thought there should have been a 2, but they couldn't get the 2 until right at the very end. I think it's very similar to that. So I think it's a consistency thing for the referees, because I think they call it consistently the same way both times.
I give them that, Will, and you bring up a good point. It has been consistency in calling today from our referees. Stam will start on bottom here at the second period. He's going to look for a quick point. Stam breaks away from the grip of Kidwell, so make it 3-1 now. Stam and Kidwell back to neutral position with 1:45 left in the second period.
Let's see if Stam can go to work here and make this a bigger lead, because as you mentioned before this match, needs some major decisions, maybe some pins to get back into this one for the Hofstra Pride.
Stam and Kidwell hand fighting towards the Bucknell bench here at the edge of the mat. Stam has to fight a shot from Kidwell, and quick 2 points there from Kidwell, and now he's got Stam on his back, so Kidwell, who only has 3 matches under his belt this year, taking it to the NCAA qualifier from last season. But now Ricky Stam gets a quick 2-point reversal, and Ricky Stam's back on top. So just as Stam found himself in a danger zone, Stam reverses it to make it 5-3 with less than a minute left in the second period.
All right, that time it might not have been the way he drew it up on that reversal. He was very, very close to getting upset here. But Ricky Stam just staying calm, cool, and collected, and now in control.
And Will, that's been the Ricky Stam, I guess, moniker, if you want to call it, for all 4 years here. Calm, cool, and collected in very scary moments during a wrestling match. As Stam trying to bring his opponent back onto the mat, and Stam's going for a Turk wheel. He's trying to set up for it. He's keeping that left foot just in to keep this match going. Riding time starting to increase for Stam. Kidwell drags himself out. He taps the hardwood. 5-3 in the match. Stam up 2. Hofstra down 15-3 though overall in the dual meet, as Ricky Stam looking to get Hofstra back on track here. Stam sets. He's trying to keep Kidwell down, get as many points as he can while on top. He breaks down Kidwell. Kidwell not all the way down though. Stam just controlling his hands, as Kidwell still able to hold his knees up. As that wraps up the second period, Ricky Stam, Will, you said it best. Maybe not the way he drew it up there. Almost getting pinned early on there towards the top of the mat, but he's able to recover and make it a 5-3 match in his favor.
Calm, cool, and collected Ricky Stam. And now he's going to have a chance as Bucknell choosing bottom here to increase that riding time, maybe get that riding time bonus point.
Ricky Stam only 3 seconds away now of riding time. And riding time in now for Ricky Stam, so there is a point on the table for Stam to hold on to. As Stam holding on to Kidwell. He's got Kidwell down to his stomach now. Kidwell, though, able to buck up, though, and get his legs back. Stam controls that left leg. He's looking to get a Turk here, trying to turn him onto his back. But Kidwell doing a good job of keeping his base built. Now Kidwell still fighting to break away from Stam, but Stam doing a great job so far this match of keeping down Kidwell. And again, Will, the senior NCAA qualifier, a sophomore with 3 matches so far this season. A big difference here between these two wrestlers, and it's showing right now on the mat as Stam, calm, cool, and collected, in control. He's got Kidwell on his stomach. He's going to be going for a turn right now, it appears. I
think if you're Kidwell, you can still take some positives out of this match, especially in that early second period when you almost got the pin.
And again, we say almost because I think Stam was on his back for a half a second before he was able to turn it to his favor. And now Stam almost getting Kidwell on his back. Riding time is locked in for Ricky Stam as he officially eclipses 2 minutes of riding time, less than a minute left in the third period. Stam going for not just a win, but the pin as well here against Kidwell. And a stalling warning issued on Kidwell, as they say he's just taking a little bit too much time staying down there. 30 seconds left now, whistle blown. We're going to reset, and now we're going to take an injury timeout, as Kidwell stands up, and he's getting checked out by his trainers now on the Bucknell side of things. Appears to be, again, a knee injury for Kidwell.
As he pulls down that brace he has on his right knee for the trainer to check it out. But I think for Kidwell, he's really held his own in this one. He hasn't really let Ricky Stam do exactly what he wants. Stam has had to get his points mostly from reversals. He hasn't really been able to get takedowns. So I think for Kidwell, this is a match that he can build off of as he continues his career with Bucknell.
Well, that's a great point to make, as, again, just a sophomore, didn't wrestle that much his freshman year last year due to COVID, but just a sophomore, still getting some matches under his belt. Ricky Stam chooses bottom, as he wants to make this a major decision, a win by 5 or more points. So Stam again, riding time already locked in. This is now just to go for some extra points here. Stam's trying to stand up. 20 seconds left. Stam has his base. Kidwell holding on to Stam's legs, though, as he's controlling that left arm of Ricky Stam. But Ricky Stam standing up, gets his legs out, building his base. 8 seconds left. Stam going for a quick reversal. Stam stands up with 5 seconds left. And that will wrap up the match. Ricky Stam wins 7-3 over Bucknell as Hofstra picks up their second win of the dual meet so far. As Ricky Stam gets his hand raised and Hofstra starting to pull themselves back into this one as we head to the 174 match between Sam Barnes of Bucknell and Ross Mcfarland, the final of the 4 freshmen, albeit a redshirt freshman, to wrestle in today's match.
You know, Ross Mcfarland has that explosive ability. Both of his 2 wins this year come on fall and a tech fall. And he's showing it right now.
It will. You just said it. You talk about explosive, and already, not even 20 seconds in, Ross Mcfarland's got a quick 2 points on Sam Barnes of Bucknell. Sam Barnes of Bucknell, 5-8 so far this season. 0-2 in dual meet play. Ross Mcfarland, 2-4, 1-3 in dual meet play. But now Mcfarland, he's already got Barnes on his back, but he just can't get him on the back just yet. Well, Ross Mcfarland in full control early on here at the Mack.
Oh, Coach Papadopoulos has that brick in his hand.
He's got the challenge brick out.
He's got the challenge brick in his hand. And we know he's not afraid to throw it.
He is not. We saw it a lot in 2019-20 and a lot last year in 2020-2021. So Ross Mcfarland resets. It'll be Barnes on bottom, the junior, against the redshirt freshman and Mcfarland on top. And Will, looks like he's going to be challenging to say there was some back points that were left on the mat earlier over there. As again, right when that happened, you saw him grab that brick right away, Will, as we've seen him do oh so many times before.
He's put it back now, but he might pull it out later. As here's Ross Mcfarland trying to get him on his back here.
Mcfarland in control. Riding time already set to eclipse 1 minute here, so that's a factor we need to talk about. Dual meet score 15-6. Wins from Hoyle and Stim have given Hofstra their 6 points so far today. Mcfarland eclipsing that 1 minute mark, still in control of Barnes. Barnes steps out of bounds here. Again, if you touch that hardwood, immediately will you have to reset. You cannot go onto the hardwood, as that does present a danger threat, a health risk, excuse me, falling on hardwood.
It's the reason they lay a mat down here.
Absolutely.
On top of the hardwood.
Barnes and Mcfarland. If you're just tuning in, I'm Max Sackle, joined by Will Wiggleman. Hofstra down 15-6 in the dual meet, though, with just 3 matches left after this 174 bout between Ross Mcfarland and Sam Barnes, as Barnes gets the escape to make it 2-1. But Mcfarland picking up enough riding time where he's got that bonus point. Again, not close to being locked in as we have 2 more periods, but a factor nonetheless.
That was one of the more explosive escapes that you'll see from Barnes there.
1 minute.
But that's exactly what we're seeing in this match. A lot of explosiveness from both sides.
Ross Mcfarland, calm, cool, and collected so far this match. He does seem to have the edge right now on Barnes point-wise, but knowing Barnes' moves, even before I think Barnes takes them at times, as we saw with that 2-point takedown, as we reset back to neutral. Associate head coach Jamie Frankel vocal right now on the sideline for his 174-pound wrestler. Mcfarland and Barnes tied up again at neutral. Mcfarland gets snapped a bit. Barnes trying to fight back. Let's see what he has here. Quick snap there. Quick trying to go for the pick right there was Mcfarland, but he couldn't get that left ankle, or right ankle, excuse me. So he went for it. 15 seconds left on the first period. Each man tied up. Quick snap there from Barnes. Barnes and Mcfarland feeling each other out. 10 seconds left now. 2-1 on the mat. No, Mcfarland unhappy with that, saying he's being a bit too aggressive with the head hits, Will. But you can't be. You can't be hitting somebody. You can tap him, but you can't be hitting him. And Mcfarland glanced at the referee, maybe a bit too aggressive there from Barnes.
Mcfarland, look for that quick escape. He's got 29 seconds to play with as far as the riding time goes. I'll look for that quick escape to make it a 2-point match.
Barnes covers on Mcfarland. Mcfarland immediately gets up to his legs, looking for the quick escape. Barnes holding his arms up on Mcfarland. Mcfarland standing up on his legs right away. Mcfarland stands up, gets returned right down to the mat though right away by Barnes. Now Mcfarland spins. Almost a reversal. Now Mcfarland stands up. And Mcfarland's still not officially escaped yet from Barnes. So the riding time, just as we thought it was about to get erased, instead he holds on to it, Will, by a split second. So 3-1 now, riding time, again, still on the table for Ross Mcfarland. Mcfarland and Barnes feeling each other out at the center of the mat. 3-1 now, 15-6 in the dual meet, though. Hofstra leading the match. Bucknell leading the dual meet. Mcfarland and Barnes feeling each other out there. Each bench is getting aggressive with each other now here, starting to get animated. As now Barnes gets behind Mcfarland, slams him down to the mat. And now for the first time all match, Sam Barnes has the lead. Ties it 3-3. First takedown, for Barnes this match.
Riding time below a minute now and counting down.
Barnes in control on Mcfarland as he has Mcfarland's arm here looking for a turn. He's got the turn locked up. Stalling warning issued on Mcfarland. Under 30 seconds left in the second period. Match knotted up at 3. Barnes going for a turn here. Mcfarland trying to build up his base. He gets his arms up on that base, but that right leg is locked up between the two legs of Sam Barnes. McFarland's still trying to stand up. He can't just yet. And going for the Turk is Barnes, but too little too late on the clock here. Match knotted up at 3, riding time off the table, and Barnes immediately picks bottom here. He sets that wide stance, Will. He's going for the escape and the first lead of the match right now for Bucknell.
I think you're seeing Ross Mcfarland right now. He's doubled over, a little tired. And now he's going to get checked out by the trainer. He's not happy with that decision, but I think right now you're seeing Ross Mcfarland getting beat later in that period, and maybe his stamina is kind of showing its weakness here, as Barnes seems to be a little bit stronger in the stamina department. He's come on later in this match.
And now Mcfarland walking off the mat with Hofstra's athletic trainer. While we have the time, we might as well make a little quick introduction here. Mauro Coronetti, new name to the Hofstra family, a Rider graduate of 2017. Hill joins the Hofstra staff this year as an assistant coach. Coronetti, an NCAA qualifier at the heavyweight class as well. So Hofstra now represented in all 3 classes, with Franco representing a bit more of those lighter guys, Papadatos in the middle, and Coronetti, obviously, the heavyweight coach.
That's big to have coaches in each weight class, because they're all different styles, lots of differences between each weight class. So to have coaches that understand the different styles, the different techniques in each weight class is very, very important. And I think that's big for Hofstra to build a coaching staff like that. As we still have not seen Ross Mcfarland return.
No, we have not. And right now, Bucknell does lead 15-6. Mcfarland with Hofstra's athletic training staff right now getting checked out.
I think for Mcfarland here, you just got to come into this third period and you just have to win the period. Win the period, win the match. Because you were up big in that first period. You looked like you had the control, and now it's all tied up, and you kind of lost that control, especially near the end of that second period. So just relax, breathe, win the period, win the match. And I think this little break here actually benefits Mcfarland a lot more than Barnes.
And Will, this is a situation of you're facing a junior. He's seen it up. He's, for lack of a better word, been around the block, for lack of a better word. He's practiced. He's been able to build up that stamina at the collegiate level. Mcfarland, a redshirt freshman, wrestled at a couple tournaments last year, just not in 8 dual meets. So again, building up that stamina to face at the college level.
Here comes Mcfarland back to the mat. They're not sure what kind of work the medical trainer did on him, but he seems to be all back and ready to go.
Mcfarland walks on the bat. A huge round of applause from his teammates and the fans here in attendance. Barnes, Mcfarland, a huge match with a win. Hofstra brings it, makes it a lot closer here. But for Bucknell, all but sealing it with a win here. Again, still 3 matches after this, so a lot of play to work with, but it's Mcfarland holding on closely to Barnes. He wants to get that riding time bonus. Is still holding on to Barnes, but both men on their feet. Grabbing the ankle pick is Ross Mcfarland, but the 1-point escape is issued to Barnes, so Bucknell, for the first time all match at the 174 class, takes the lead. Mcfarland and Barnes knotted up, each man on their knees, their arms tied up. Trying to break around is Mcfarland. He can't just yet. Mcfarland trying to get the quick 2 points. Instead, both men go out of bounds. No points given from each team. Mcfarland, good defense there to keep him out. He has a slow time getting up here, and for the Hofstra, 4-3 in favor of Sam Barnes. 1:18 remaining in the third period. Barnes up 4-3, his first lead all match long.
Mcfarland just doesn't look at 100% when he's walking back into position here. I'm not going to speculate on what it might be, but he just doesn't look at 100%.
Mcfarland still fighting, though, at 100%. Quick shot there from Barnes. He's trying to break around Mcfarland. Mcfarland able to stand up and deflect it a bit, and he takes him down out of bounds. They go to neutral, and immediately head coach Dan Weisberger and his assistants Kevin LaValle and Eric Morrell and Tyler Smith screaming at the referee. Do we see the challenge brick, Will? They have it ready. They have it armed there on the Bucknell bench. They say there was a takedown and that Barnes was still in.
Once again, the Hofstra trainer coming out to take a look at Ross Mcfarland.
Again, we don't want to speculate what it is, but Mcfarland taking 2 breaks now with Hofstra's athletic staff here. As for Bucknell, they choose not to challenge, Will. They're going to hold on to the brick there, so no challenge coming from the Bison. We thought it would be. You saw them arm it, but they decide not to challenge that play that just happened at the top of the mat.
You know what I will say about the brick, Max, is that I find the brick a lot more fun than the challenge flag, like in football. The challenge flag is fun. Like it'll fly. It'll fly. It's kind of fun, but throwing a brick, there's nothing like throwing a brick. Bricks are very satisfying to throw. It's, get a good grip on them. Like a flag, tough to get a good grip on because, it's a piece of fabric. You kind of toss it. But, yeah, the challenge brick, awesome. Tough to institute in football because you can't really fit it in your pocket like you can a flag. But you know what? I'm a big fan of the challenge brick.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of the challenge brick as well. I agree with you. It's satisfying to throw. Has that nice sound effect as it hits the mat as well.
Oh, yeah.
A nice little thud effect.
Now, the only thing with a challenge brick is that, I mean, you got a whole brick in your hand. You to avoid throwing that at the referee. Because in the moment that you are challenging something, you are obviously upset with something the referee did or did not do.
Absolutely.
So you have to avoid throwing it at the referee. But we've seen some great challenge brick throws from head coach Dennis Papadopoulos over the years. And I'm looking forward to some more this season. As here comes Mcfarland back on the mat.
Mcfarland taking his time coming back to the mat. 47 seconds left in the match. And they decide to do a medical forfeit as Barnes will come away with the win on medical forfeit. We'll wait to see how many points they award the forfeit as well. Some injury default there is going to be the official call for today. As we get to the 184 match between NCAA qualifier Charles Small and his opponent will be the freshman Logan DeCitis from Illinois. From Fairbury, Illinois, Prairie Central High School.
Yeah. What were you going to say? Huh?
Great state.
Yeah.
Great state. As NCAA qualifier Charles Small and former junior college national champion takes the mat the senior taking on the freshman. So now, Will, it's the reverse of what we saw earlier in the lighter weights. Now in the heavyweights, Hofstra has the age advantage against some of the younger Bucknell Bison coming onto the mat.
And also a huge deficit as Bucknell picked up 6 points on that medical decision.
And, Will, again, it's not final yet. Hofstra can still win this match. It's not like we're officially done here. They can still come away with the win. They just need to go for major decisions, tech falls, and pins. It has to come with the big scoring wins. It can't just be the 3-point victories. Small and DeCitas tied up at the top of the mat here. DeCitas enters this match 12-8 on the season, 4-2 for the freshman in dual meets as well. Small, 8-5, 5-3 in dual meet play as well. As the heavy hitters coming up for Hofstra Pride. Small also ranked right now. According to Intermat, the 27th ranked 184 wrestler in the nation as well, within the top 30. Small trying to break around DeCitas. But he can't just yet. Small goes for the double leg takedown. Does he get the 2 points? No, DeCitas able to sprawl and get out of it. Now DeCitas on the back. We'll see if Small can get around for 2 points. And Small gets around for 2 points. Charles Small gets a 2-0 lead with 1:25 left in the first period.
As you mentioned, Hofstra needs to get a lot of points with these. Need those major decisions, tech falls, and pins. And it looks like Charles Small going to trying to get him on his back here.
Well, truthfully, Hofstra going for pins, really, in these final 3 matches. That could shoot a full 6 points, and that'll bring you back into this game. This dual meet, faster than anything else.
We know a guy who can get a bunch of tech falls is Trey Rogers, who will be coming up next. We know he can be a high scorer when he's at his best.
If you're looking for pins, Zachary Knight and Ward and Charles Small, the men to look for here. Small trying to break around the wrist of DeCitas. Instead, he decides to flatten DeCitas down. Small going for the turn here to get DeCitas on his back. Going for the Turk. He's trying to turn him. He can't get that turn fully just enough yet. Instead, DeCitas able to flatten his chest out and lay down onto the mat. Now DeCitas again staying up, but Small has that back ankle. He'll be looking to flatten him down here.
30 seconds.
Small gets his arms around him, gets DeCitas back down, and now riding time officially eclipses 1 minute for Charles Small. Small pushing in his arms, trying to go for that turn. He's got the wrists of DeCitas. 15 seconds left in the first period. Small looking for that turn there. Decides to just flatten him down and score a bit more riding time. 5 seconds left, and that ends the first period. Charles Small in control against Logan DeCitas. He's only up 2-0, but riding time already at 1:30.
But, I mean, that's not really going to do it for Hofstra. You're going to need that. You're going to need that pin, because Charles Small can get a pin here. Then you're down 11 with 2 more matches to go, and again, you're already in a tough situation, but Charles Small really needs a pin here. Just keep his team in it.
Small doing a good job at keeping down DeCitas. They roll over to close to us by media row here again. They decide to back out again due to hardwood, as just heard the referee say. DeCitas will remain on bottom. Charles Small on top. He's taking his time to walk over there. Small sets on top. DeCitas immediately stands up, goes for the breakout, and he escapes. It's 2-1 now with 1:35 remaining in the second period. DeCitas and Small feeling each other out at the center of the arena. Gun whistle blown. And we're going to reset to neutral. Will, I missed the call. Were you able to catch it?
I was not sure what they were calling there. I didn't really see much going on.
Either way, we reset. Hofstra up 2-1 in the match, though down 21-6 overall in the dual meet to the Bucknell Bison, as Hofstra looks for their first ever win against the Bison since November 24th, 2009, and just their 5th meeting since the turn of the century and 25th meeting all time. Small takes the double leg shot. He tries to break around DeCitas. Small trying to reverse DeCitas and push him onto his back. Is Small able to do it? Small pushing around now. DeCitas trying to go for the reversal. Now Small fighting for the reversal. Each man tied up. Small. A bit of a driver's seat if you want to call it. Now DeCitas holds the arm. DeCitas trying to push him the other way. Small trying to spin him down. Small pushing. DeCitas tied up with Small. Neither man able to get an advantage as they drag each other out of bounds. We go back to neutral. Well, that's the closest that Logan DeCitas has got to taking down Charles Small for 2 points.
It was very, very close, but Small stayed composed. You saw the look on his face never changed the entire time, and he did a good job at just keeping himself away from that takedown.
Small and DeCitas locking horns with each other again at the center of the mat. 15 seconds left in the second period. DeCitas was able to escape, but Small's riding time already up to 1:45 now. Small and DeCitas locked up again. Small fakes a shot. That ends the second period. A whistle blown, and they're going to issue a warning, though, on DeCitas. A bit too much hand fighting there on Charles Small, as we just saw at the end.
Kind of gave him a nice push on the head there, right at the end, as they're going to give Charles Small an opportunity to get that quick escape point with 45 seconds to play with on the riding time.
And a caution issued now to DeCitas again, just a bit too aggressive. Small resets. DeCitas on top, 2-1. Small has that riding time, but again, he's got about 40 seconds to play with as he tries to stand up here, as DeCitas tries to keep him down. Small trying to stand up. Can't stand up just yet. Small tries to get up, breaks the grip of DeCitas, and DeCitas cuts him loose. So Small gets the point. Riding time stays intact in a minute 19. Small up 2, 3-1. Small and DeCitas locked up with each other again. Small fakes a shot, a minute 20 left. He's got to go for a pin or just really start racking up some points for Hofstra to come back in this dual meet.
Absolutely. It's all about the aggressiveness right now for Charles Small, because he might get a win here. That might be good for his record, but it's not going to do much for the pride as far as his dual meet goes.
Small and DeCitas less than a minute now, feeling each other out. At the center of the mat, still neither man really a big advantage. Small takes a single leg shot, has that leg tied up. Small trying to turn him onto his back now. And then we're at the same tie-up we saw earlier, but a lot more mat to play with now. It's instead of being tied up towards the top of the mat, they're tied up in the center of the mat. Small trying to break around. DeCitas goes to the first one. Now Small's got him tied up. 2 points for Charles Small. It's 5-1. Small and DeCitas still tied up. Small holding on to him closely, cuts him loose, 5-2 now. Small going to be looking, as that riding time's locked up officially for Charles Small, for another quick takedown.
Small's going to need a takedown here, or else this match is over.
10 seconds, quick shot there from DeCitas. And now Small trying to reverse it the other way. And Small gets a quick 2 points at the buzzer and will make that an 8-2 win. That'll award Hofstra 4 points. So now the situation arrives. 2 pins here from your big guys and Trey Rogers and Zachary Knight and Ward, and you come away with the win, 22-21, in a dual meet that's going to come down to the final 2 weight classes.
And you know what? Charles Small did his job there, and that quick 2 right at the end is huge. And you'd love to see if that be the difference for Charles Small, because you want to see that work out for Charles Small, just the way he was able to fight to the very end and get that last 2 points. And now Trey going to need a pin here.
Trey Rogers already a lot more aggressive against his opponent in Mason Mccready, a true 197-pound wrestler. Rogers a junior, Mccready a junior. Rogers 8-4, 5-3 on the season. Mccready 8-7, 3-3 on the season. So really 2 evenly matched opponents here. They're only going to give Charles Small 3 points for the win, so it's 21-9. But still, if it's tied at 21 at the end of this, we'll tell you what the tiebreaker is today. As it could be pins, it could be riding time. There's a lot of factors that could be the tie-breaking point.
Either way, though, Trey Rogers still needs a pin here.
Rogers and Mccready knotted up with one another. 1 minute gone already, still tied 0, but Rogers dictating this tempo already with Mccready. Well, he had those initial couple moves out of the gate here that have led to him having the lead. Ooh, Rogers leaves his back exposed as Mccready tried to break around, but he couldn't. Rogers not short of accolades this season, receiving votes on the Flow Wrestling page as one of the top 30 197 wrestlers in the country. Not exactly in that top 30 just yet, but just on the cusp of breaking into it. You have to assume a win today would probably boost him into it.
Absolutely, and a pin would really catapult him up those rankings.
Absolutely will. And the pin would catapult Hofstra back into this match as well here, as they're down 12, 21-9, with just one weight class left after this, and that being the heavyweight bout with Zachary Knight and Ward and Luke Niemeyer. But we're focused right now on Trey Rogers versus Mason Mccready, as these two still feeling each other out at the center of the mat. Rogers snaps down Mccready. And instead, Rogers cuts him free, decides to reset. We're still knotted up at 0, less than a minute left.
Rogers does have 3 fall wins so far this season. Gonna need number 4.
Rogers takes the shot, but Mccready kicks out to break it. Mccready and Trey Rogers still tying up with one another. No advantage yet for either man here. Mccready and Rogers still hand fighting with one another. Rogers fakes the shot. Mccready pushes back a bit. 20 seconds left. Rogers in control of Mccready's arms all this match, but now Mccready holds onto that left arm of Rogers. 10 seconds left now in the first period. Rogers and Mccready still knotted up with each other. And that will do it. End of the first period. Each man aggressive with one another. But Trey Rogers holding his own. Still at 0-0 as Rogers chooses bottom. He wants the first points of this match.
Interesting choice for bottom, especially considering the situation. I feel like I would have liked to pick the top because then you can get an opportunity for that pin. But Trey Rogers playing the point game right now.
Rogers trying to stand up against Mccready. Can Rogers break out of the grasp? He does, but Mccready almost had him on the single leg, but Rogers stands up straight. He's up 1-0 now against Mccready. Now Mccready and Rogers take each other out of bounds now. Trey Rogers pops right back up. You talk about stamina. That's a man who has a lot of gas left in the tank, even when the third period's done.
And stamina is what's helped him with his approach. Oftentimes he'll go for a lot of takedowns, try and build up as many points as possible, but right now he needs a pin.
Rogers has Mccready on the ground. Rogers trying to break around. Rogers freeing up that leg. Can he get around yet? Trying to break loose of that grip on his hand. Rogers still spinning around. He can't break out just yet. Rogers trying to flatten him out. Still fighting as Trey Rogers to get 2 points, but Mccready equally fighting back to break out of it. And Rogers just needs to get that leg free of his arms, and Trey Rogers does. He's up 3-0 now with 44 seconds left in the second period. Mccready already builds up his base. Now Rogers brings him back down. Trey Rogers decides to cut him free, This is a move we see a lot from Rogers. He likes to cut his opponents 3, but immediately will start racking up takedown points again.
Again, those takedown points, they're big, but they're not going to win this match for Hofstra. Not going to win this dual meet.
Hofstra needs 2 pins from their final 2 matches, tied at 21 to force the tiebreak.
And seconds.
Tech falls won't do here. They got to get them on Bucknell's wrestlers on their backs. As that winds up the second period, Trey Rogers gets an escape and a takedown, and even 3 seconds of riding time as well, as he takes a 3-1 lead entering the third period.
Rogers going to start on top here in the third period, so an opportunity for him to get Mccready on his back.
A big opportunity for Rogers and the Hofstra Pride here. If they can get the pin, Rogers already keeping Mccready down. Trying to break around the other way is Rogers. Mccready cuts himself loose. It's 3-2 now, 1:50 left to go in the third period. Rogers and Niemeyer. Mccready and Rogers tying up with one another. Again, after this, one more match of the day. Zachary Knight and Ward versus Luke Niemeyer. Niemeyer bumping up today to heavyweight. Zachary Knight and Ward, a former junior college national champion at the heavyweight level as well, so he's going to be staying at the weight class he normally is. But right now, we're focused on this match with 1:15 left. Trey Rogers looking for a pin here against Mason Mccready of Bucknell.
Mccready just playing that defense to avoid getting put on his back. You know he wants to win this, but I think his first priority is not get put on his back and secure the victory for his side in the last 50 seconds.
Rogers checks the clock. He knows he's got limited time to work with here. Hofstra down 21-9 in the dual meet, but Rogers up 3-2 in the match. Rogers has his hands locked up by Mccready. Now it's 30 seconds left between Rogers and Mccready. These two are tied up with one another. Nobody seemed to having an advantage with each other just yet. Rogers the only takedown of this match so far for 2 points. He has that escape. 15 seconds left now. Rogers eyes up an opponent, looks for the one final shot. 10 seconds left. You have to assume somebody's going to be taking a shot at the buzzer. Fake shot from both men. Shot from Mccready is blocked. Rogers tries to go for the takedown, and that ends the third period. So Trey Rogers gets the win, Will, to make it 21-12, but scoring-wise, Bucknell does clinch the dual meet. As this final match here between Luke Niemeyer and Zachary Knight Ward solely going to be playing for statistics.
But I think we'll still see Zachary Knight Ward fight really hard. He's a guy who has aspirations towards the top of the EIWA, and this could go a long way for him.
Knight and Ward finished 4th last year at the EIWAs. Knight and Ward also 19th on intermat and 20th on the open mat for the heavyweight class. And Will, when you're that high up, that's when you're in the territory of your Iowas, Penn States, and Wisconsin, those Big Ten schools that really dominate the college wrestling scene.
He's a guy who has that talent, has that ability to be right up there with those top guys in the NCAA.
As new assistant head coach Mauro Cornetti speaking with his heavyweight. Cornetti, again, a heavyweight himself while wrestling at Rider University. 4-year ladder winner from 2013 to 17 as he takes on, again, Niemeyer, who's bumping up weight class today. Niemeyer lost at LIU. Niemeyer looking to avoid going 0-2 on the day on this Long Island road trip, if you want to call it, for the Bucknell Bison. Niemeyer still can't get his headgear fixed. So
this is a new headgear for Niemeyer.
Big head of hair on Niemeyer as well.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Max loves a good head of hair. Oh, now we're gonna move to headgear number 3 unless we can get this one figured out.
Well, it looks like headgear number 3 is getting fixed upon, as you see Bucknell's athletic training staff getting it ready. Zachary Knight and Ward pacing back and forth just to keep himself loose, keep him warm as well. Just to give everyone a quick summary of the day, Bucknell winning the matches at 125, 133, 149, 157. Hofstra winning at 141, 165, 184, and 197, but Hofstra had to medically forfeit 174 as Ross Mcfarland could not finish the match due to injury. We don't know what yet. We don't want to speculate it. But now we're here at the heavyweight matchup. Zachary Knight and Ward already gets a single leg on Niemeyer. Niemeyer trying to break out of it. Knight and Ward, again, has that weight and size advantage against Niemeyer, who's wrestling up a weight class today. Knight and Ward bringing him back into the center of the mat here for the takedown. Wants to make sure he has space. Knight and Ward just can't get the takedown just yet. Decides to reset again. Knight and Ward gets the takedown on Niemeyer, and Niemeyer's flattened down to the mat again. It's 2-0, Zachary Knight and Ward.
Niemeyer fought and fought and fought, but Zachary Knight and Ward determined to get that takedown.
Zachary Knight and Ward trying to turn it the other way now against Niemeyer. Knight and Ward going for a Turk. He's got that back leg of Niemeyer sealed up. Knight and Ward and Niemeyer, the final match of the day here in Hempstead. Knight and Ward trying to turn Niemeyer his way. You hear Niemeyer grunting. They get closer and closer to the broadcast section here. Niemeyer builds up his base again. He's got his legs up, but Knight and Ward able to flatten him out. And now Knight and Ward going for the turn on Niemeyer, trying to force Niemeyer onto his back here. He's got one shoulder down, Will. Can he get that second shoulder down to start getting some back points? Knight and Ward trying to wrap this one up by the end of the first period.
Still just under a minute left in the first period, so plenty of time for Zach to work with. But he's unable to get it on that attempt, and he'll make another try at it.
And Niemeyer again flattens himself out. Now he gets the escape. Niemeyer able to slip out of the grasp of Zachary Knight and Ward. But Zachary Knight and Ward resets at the center of the mat, Will. It looks like he's going to be looking for another takedown.
And that's what you got to do if you're Niemeyer in this situation. You're giving up weight, you're giving up size, so you got to be a little slippery. You got to add a little speed element to your game.
Niemeyer tried to take a shot right there on Knight and Ward. And well, yeah, for Niemeyer, you got to be faster than Knight and Ward. I mean, Knight and Ward in high school, a three-sport athlete playing lacrosse, football, and obviously wrestling. Continued that in college and even won a junior college national championship in the process. One of the easily best wrestlers on this Hofstra Pride team.
Absolutely. I'd call him the best one on the roster currently.
So Zachary Knight and Ward chooses bottom. 2-1 he leads. 2 minutes left in the second period. Knight and Ward builds up his base. Knight and Ward stands all the way up. Can he break out of this? He can. Knight and Ward gets the quick escape in less than 10 seconds. He stands up straight again. 3-1, a minute 45 left in the second period. Knight and Ward and Niemeyer tied up with one another. Niemeyer gets his hands around Knight and Ward, but Knight and Ward stands right back up. Niemeyer and Knight and Ward just pacing back and forth with each other here. A minute left in the second period. Knight and Ward gets the leg at Niemeyer again with another single leg takedown. He got Niemeyer down the first time. This time Niemeyer kicks out of the single leg though. So he'll avoid getting taken down the same way again, at least so far. Less than a minute left in the second period. 3-1 in favor of Zachary Knight and Ward, and the riding time also in his favor at a minute 19. Knight and Ward fakes the shot, shoots, can't finish though. Niemeyer deflects it. 40 seconds left now in the second period. Niemeyer and Knight and Ward just tying up with one another.
30 seconds.
Can't find what he was looking for just yet as these two reset at the center of the mat. .15 seconds left now. Knight and Ward shooting again, and Will, it's been all Knight and Ward offensively throughout this match.
Yeah, Niemeyer back on his heels for much of it, just trying to defend Zachary Knight and Ward, but he's going to go into this third period down 2 points with the riding time bonus on Zach's side.
So it will be Niemeyer's points here. Niemeyer chooses to take bottom here to try to get the quick escape point. Knight and Ward on top. Only needs about 40 seconds here to lock in his riding time bonus. Niemeyer already able to stand up. Knight and Ward still has his tight grip, though, and he sends Niemeyer back down with a huge stud to the bottom of the mat. Niemeyer has his base, though. He's able to get on his knees and start to stand up again. Knight and Ward breaks him back down, though. Minute 30 left in this dual meet overall now. And Knight and Ward flattens out Niemeyer. So Niemeyer totally on his stomach now. Knight and Ward on top in control.
Zach trying to find a way to flip Niemeyer over here on his back.
Knighton Ward with a win. That would be his 10th win of the season. He already leads the team with 9. He'd be the first man in double digits with 10, assuming this result holds. So riding time is locked in, so make it a 4-1 match if you want to call it.
It would also snap a 3-match losing streak for Zachary Knighton Ward. A big one for his confidence and big one for the standings.
And will a 3-match losing streak, but look at who he's facing there. Look at the 3 last matches he's had. That's ranked opponents from some of the top wrestling schools in the country. Not easy opponents at all. 40 seconds left. Knighton Ward trying to go for that pinwheel. He's going for the Turk still. He has his arms in the right place. 30 seconds left. Hofstra, though, not victorious though in the overall dual meet, even with the result in this match right here, as he's able to build up his base as Luke Niemeyer. Knighton Ward cuts Niemeyer free with 10 seconds left. Knighton Ward going for one more takedown. He gets the single leg again and gets the takedown again in a blink of an eye. Zachary Knighton Ward gets a 2-point takedown, but that'll do it. So Hofstra gets the win, but they fall to Bucknell 21-15. Will, your overall thoughts on today's match?
Well, you know, for Hofstra, you had some tough breaks. I mean, that Ross Mcfarland going down with the injury, a very tough break. For Hofstra, you had some close matches early in the beginning. I mean, Jacob Moon lost in overtime. Tyler Zimmerman took that loss in the final few seconds. So for Hofstra, just close but no cigar in this one.
Definitely will. And I was going to point out, well, those first 4 matches of the day really decided it. As you said, these 2 close ones. But really what iced it early on there for Bucknell was the fall, as Colby DePron defeated Michael Landry with a fall at 220. That kind of iced it for Bucknell early on. That gave them that 6-point boost they rode for the rest of the match. But Hofstra's freshmen today, maybe not the results they wanted, but they held their own today on the mat against their opponents.
I was impressed again with Moon's defense, with Zimmerman's defense. It really shows the type of style that head coach Dennis Papadopoulos is trying to instill in his program. He's trying to instill a tough defensive team that is going to be really difficult to score points against. And you know, once those guys are able to develop their offense and they're able to start picking up points of their own, they're going to be very tough to beat with that defense already instilled in them.
So Hofstra loses this one. That's now their 5th straight loss. They drop to 1-2 in conference, as again their conference wins coming against American, but conference losses to Brown on the road in Rhode Island, and then the loss to today to Bucknell, 21-15. Will, up next, they have a week off before they face Buffalo next Saturday at 1 p.m. I'll be on the call with that alongside Jonathan D'Souza. Will, how do you shake off that result ahead of next weekend when they face the Buffalo Bulls?
I think you have to pull out the positives here, especially again for those younger guys, and how they were able to compete, how they were able to show good defense. And I think when you go into practice, maybe work a little bit on the offense, because that's kind of where you were lacking a little bit, especially in those lighter weight classes.
Well, that'll do it here from the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex. Hofstra loses a close one, 21-15 to the Bucknell Bison. Again, tune in next Saturday for more Hofstra Pride Wrestling at 1 p.m. when they take on the Buffalo Bulls. For my color partner, Will Wiggleman, I'm Max Sacco signing off, saying so long and stay safe, Long Island.